morning, everybody. This is Dom Calvano, Alzheimer's Coachella Valley, president of the board of directors and also a co-founder. And to my right,
Good morning again. My name is Pat Kaplan. I'm a co-founder with Dom and Edie Keller of Alzheimer's Coachella Valley and also a current board member.
so we'd like to talk a little bit about our dear friend Edie Keller. Tell them the story of what she used to say at Club Journey.
Oh, that I remember one day coming in and Edie was already here, and you know what, if any of you've been to Club Journey when it was in the office, the electricity and energy was so exciting. And there was Edie, and she had this most beautiful smile on her face, and she said, you know, I used to wonder why I was put on this earth, but now I don't have to ask that question any longer. And that was it. I mean, that's Edie. It brought her so much joy, and at that point in her life, it was like, I am going to have a legacy. I'm making the world different and better. And I think all of us would like to have that happen. And I know, and I'm happy for her that did happen before we lost her.
Problems to her, you know, but she took the time with every single person that came up to her. Always, you know, always took the time for people. And, you know, that's a rare quality in today's world. Everybody is pretty much on the go, and, you know, to find somebody that really has a genuine love for people like she did was truly amazing.
Well, and I remember when I first met Edie in 1994, and she was struggling with accepting that her mother had Alzheimer's. And she really ran up against a wall when it came to finding resources, because she lived in the valley and her parents were living here in Coachella Valley. So her struggle, she really experienced that. And as she said, misplaced her mother many times because she didn't know what she was looking for, and there weren't a lot of options out there. So that always stayed with her, and she never forgot that. And she always would say, no one else is ever going to have to go through what I went through. That terrible feeling of knowing that there was a need and not knowing how to fill it. And so I think that's why she was always so open when our families would come in, or if somebody had a question or a challenge. That was her opportunity to allow them not to have to go through what she did.
Right.
And when she said that, she meant it. And from then on, that's the way she lived her life. I mean, she and Chuck were very special in that everyone always had a voice.
You know, we talk a lot about Club Journey, and there might be some people out there that are watching that really don't understand what Club Journey is and traveling the journey and how they came to be. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how, you know, about traveling the journey first, and then how it kind of morphed into what, you know, it is today, plus the, you know, little jog it took to turn into Club Journey too.
Well, I think, as any of you that have worked with us the past going on 4 years know, our emphasis was to work with not just the caregiver, but the person with diagnoses, and to develop programs where they could actually do those together and share the experience. And so that's what Traveling the Journey was about. Meeting for 8 weeks with the caregiver and the person with diagnoses, presenting educational opportunities, resources in the community the first hour, and then after some coffee and snacks, then the people with diagnosis going with Trudy, doing some kind of fun activity or just sharing some thoughts that they may have since last week, and Edie going with the caregivers. So everything was going wonderfully, and then the 8 weeks came to an end. And those 8 couples looked at her and said, "No, you can't do this to us. We're like a family now. We have all these connections, and this can't be over. It's got to be more." And so Edie called Dom and I and said, "Okay, guys, we got to meet. We have another challenge." And so we were sitting in a little circle like this, and saying, well, what would it look like? What it would be like? Would it just be social? Would it be educational? And Edie said, no, it's just going to be social. They've already, been exposed to resources. This is just time for them to come together, get to know each other more. So it needs to be social. And, but what would we call it? And so we were throwing things around, and then all of a sudden it was...
Well, it came out Journey Club, remember?
Yes.
It could be like a Journey Club. And then we thought about it for a minute and said, why not call it Club Journey?
And it was so spontaneous because I think it happened around the beginning of June. And so we said, well, when are we going to start it? And we said, well, we're just going to start it. Yeah. And just kind of see what happens.
I remember saying it's the program that's really not a program.
Right.
Because and what was interesting about Club Journey and Edie, initiating it, is the fact that it was completely 100% created by the participants. And that's what I think made it so special. There's participants right now that come in and they feel like they are the ones that actually created Club Journey, and it's really cool.
Well, and look what happened with Larry.
Yeah.
And after doing exercises with Chrissy, then Larry wanted to read a poem or somebody wanted to tell a joke.
Right.
And so they created that little segment. And then it went into what kinds of games, what kinds of things, and then the lunch, and...
But Edie, I think, really had a feel for what they needed, and she knew that this form of socialization and getting people out in a safe environment would really work wonders for them. And it did. It was something. I can't wait to start it up again because I know how much people really miss it.
And the wonderful thing was it did not become just Tuesday from 10 to 12:30. It became relationships that developed, and so on Friday, they would go to a movie together. Some of them went to Sunnylands and did the tour. And they really got to know each other as friends and really cared about one another. Yeah. And that was wonderful, seeing that happen.
We have Edie to thank for that, for being the initiator, making that phone call and telling us, hey, we got to get together and do something for these people. So, yeah. Thank you, Edie.
And I still, when challenges come up or I have a question, I still do that. I just put it out there to her and say, I know you're listening. I know she and Chuck are watching over us and sending us, good energy and ideas. And so it's, a couple of days later, all of a sudden I'll think of something and it's the answer to what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah. Okay. What else?
So I think what Dom and I would like to do now is we have a couple of people that have already told us that they would like to say a few words about their friend Edie. And then I think Priscilla has some people that she might be calling on too.
Good.
So we want to expand this to as many people as we can to share their great memories and friendship with our friend Edie.
We can't tell you how much we miss Edie every single day.